Well, we got those races out. I went down to the pawn store, bought a flat screwdriver, about a 10-inch thing on it, stuck it in a vise, bent the tip over, I don't know, ½ inch, and then just stuck it down in there. And you can see some of the parts of I just gotta clean it up. But there's little fittings. Oh yeah, you can kind of see like right there. I don't know if it's showing up on camera. That's where the frame of the bike is, but that thing's probably about the size of a nickel. And those holes in these stems, well, they're off to the side anyway, but wouldn't fit in there. So I have no idea what those holes are about, but whatever. Anyway, got those races out. I'm going to flush it with some clean oil and get all the little bits and pieces of the handle off the screwdriver that I screwed up in there a little bit. Get all cleaned up. I have a bolt here somewhere. Oh, I think it's still out in the car. Anyway, bolt. I'll put the big flat washers on here with the new races. Squeeze them in. And then should be good to go. I told you earlier the body's out for paint. Told me it'd be about a week. For you guys, that's probably a week and a half-ish. So yeah, it's a mess. I mean, it looks bad, but it's really not. I mean, it's just a couple nuts and bolts here and there. These are all the bolts from the front end. From the brake, mounting bracket, cable bracket. These ones hold the actual calipers on. These went to the windshield. But these are all the bolts from the front end. This is the dust cover for the bearings. These are those castle nuts I was telling you about. And the wiper gasket. Try to keep them all in order. These are to those, whatever you want to call these things, tins? I don't know. They just sat in there is all they did. Oh, I guess it kept them from clanging. You'd squish this foam down and that way they wouldn't clang, I guess, when you hit a bump. That would suck. Won't be using those again. But yeah, those are all the nuts and bolts. So there's really nothing to it, But it is what it is. If you're comfortable doing it, do it. If you're not sure why you're watching this, but send it out and have someone do it for you. It's pretty easy. Triple trees, you don't have to get the nice billet aluminum ones that I got that were CNC'd cut out of a solid piece. I went a little expensive. You don't have to do that. You can get stamped steel that will work too. I think those are like maybe $200-300 bucks. Ones I got were closer to 1,000, but prices change. I don't want, don't hold me to that. That's what I paid now. A year from now they could drop, they could go up, I don't know. Alright, well, when I get ready to put the new races in, we'll come back to this and I'll show you where we're at. Alright, still at the point where I got the old races out. You see that's all cleaned up. See, I got my new DMV VIN number. Just pop riveted that in there. You can see where they came through. There you go. Now you can see those two pop through. Not too bad. I've been messing with, looking at this brackets here for the cable management and the distribution for the brake lines. And then also looking at the headlight mount and the windshield mount. The bolt that goes through them. And the bolt that came with the new triple tree, which obviously ain't gonna cut it. So what I came up with is I'm going to use this existing stuff. I'm going to use this existing bolt. We went ahead and drilled these holes out for the headlight mounts. You see I drilled them out. They actually came out quite a bit easier than I expected. And bolt now goes all the way through. Both of them will actually. So this being the bottom, this will, whoop, I know you're up close and personal. There we go. So that'll be sticking out like this on the bottom of it towards the wheel, the tire. And I can put a little L bracket in here that bolts into that and then has the L coming up. And on the back of that I can put another L bracket and then have spots right there to mount that distribution on for the brake lines for the front. That was a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But it's aluminum, so I mean I used a hand drill. A battery powered hand drill at that. Cut through it pretty quick. I think it took me like 2 minutes to cut each hole. I used quite a bit of oil. I didn't want to stress the metal in any way. I also got to looking at my front turn signals on the original bike. Now I haven't decided yet, but if I wanted to, I could very easily drill out 2 holes, tap them, thread them. I could do that, but that is on the very front. I can do that at any time, so I have that option. I also bought these chrome billet things to just mount on the tubes themselves. Yeah, I'd probably go right there. These are LED. They're definitely nowhere near as heavy and as these are. Decisions, but these are all things, you know, these unclamp and I can put these on at the very end. Same thing with this, if I'm going to drill and tap that. That's the nice thing about aluminum. I think I mentioned that. It's extremely easy to drill. Very careful if you tap it, because it's aluminum and it doesn't take much to strip it out. You could always go the next size bigger and put a bigger bolt in it, but yeah, let's not do that if we don't have to. But I just wanted to let you see where I was at with that. I just drilled them all the way through so I can mount the distribution for the brake lines up front. Turn signals, I need to have them, but I'm not as worried about them as I am the brakes. I want to have brakes. I did tell you, try not to throw this across the room, I need new brake pads. So I have them ordered. These aren't great, but they're not metal on metal by any means. So I'm going to go ahead and continue, bolt it all up, get it done. Ordered my other brake pads. I should have them by the 30th. 1st of July. 4th of July is right there. So we're just going to put it together with what we got. Should have the body back next Friday. Yeah. Oh, I do have the bearing races. They're in the freezer right now. The stem bolt's in the freezer. Stem bolt's in the freezer because the bottom bearing, which I haven't put these out in the sun yet because I'm going to assume it's going to be tomorrow when I actually put this, the bottom race bearing in. And it'll actually be on the stem like it is on the old one. I am not going to dig that off. I'm not going to use it again. I don't need it. I don't care. So we're not even worried about that. But tomorrow I'll put these out, this one out in the sun. I'll get the valve stem out, the main stem out of the freezer. Put that up here, or actually down through here, into this. On the other side, there we go. We'll put the seal on first. Don't forget your seals. You'll be really pissed to get it all together, and then you get water and dust and crap, and then you're just, put your seal on. Get the new bearing race on here. This is the only one that's press fitted onto that. The upper one just slides over those threads, and then it has these tassel nuts that go over and hold it down. Now these are the old bearing races. This is the top one. I'm going to hopefully not need it, but if I do, put this on top and pound the race in. This is the bottom, the old race. Oh yeah, you can see how thin that is. It's like not even a 1/4 inch. I'm all greasy. I'll show you the new ones. No, I won't. They're in the freezer. New ones are almost a 1/2 inch. Well, they're the size of the bearing, obviously. So yeah, not much done for you guys to see, but a whole lot for me. And then, yeah, we'll be putting that stem in, putting the bearing on. Still got to put the races in here. I'm going to let them go another hour, and then I should be able to just, hopefully, just slide them in. Maybe a little tapping, obviously. And then get the handlebars back on. I'm not going to do the fork tubes just yet. I'm actually looking at shock boots. Put them on here on these little plastic pieces. Oh, nice greasy prints. Maybe put a clamp or a wire tie on there of some sort and have it come up to the bottom of the triple tree. This being the top, it'd be the bottom side, and then put another little wire tie there. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. Don't need them. It's not there for any purpose than decoration. It's, you know, they're sealed. That nothing there to worry about. Just like these old tins on here. You know, you can see all the corrosion that's in there. Well, not corrosion, but dirt, debris, water. You know, they weren't there to seal it. They were just there for decoration. That's all these served. And the same thing with these things. They weren't sealed by any means. You can see the corrosion. Well, again, corrosion. But you can see the water and dust, road debris. You know, again, they were just decoration. Who knows? I can find a way to make them fit. I don't know. That's later. Got to get the triple trees on first, then we'll worry about the tubes. That's why I'm not even there yet. That's about it for this one. Do some cleanup here on stuff. Yeah, they're not bad. They're going to be buried. Oh yeah, I did grab the upper one, put it on there. Don't need those boots or anything like that are in the stock one. They obviously drilled those holes out. You can see how big it is. About 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't need to be that big. And then they put these bushings in there. There's no need for that bushing. It's just the handlebars. They don't move. They're not going anywhere. So don't need any of that. Don't need anything off the original. When I get done, there's somebody out there who's going to want these parts. And they're like mint. I mean, nothing's wrong with them. A little dirty, a little greasy. A lot of greasy. But, yeah. Alright. Closing it off now, or I'll keep rambling. Next time. Well, there's not really a way of videoing while you're doing that. I got that top tapered bearing in there. Basically, I took the old one, put it edge on edge, and just kind of tapped it in with a hammer. And when I say tap, I mean I hit it. But I had to hurry because I had it in the freezer. And I could definitely feel it warming up. I mean, when I first set it on there, it slid in just a hair. And then I could feel it. You wouldn't think they'd expand all that much, but there's just a micro of a nanomillimeter. It makes a big difference. Yeah, so we got that upper taper bearing in there. Haven't done the bottom one. I'm gonna have to get everything out of the way to do that. But I got the top one in. I'd like to show you that. There's a couple of YouTube videos out there if you really need to see it, where they have all the cables just out of the way and they just do it for you. It's not all that much to it. Like I said, you just take your old one. Didn't even hurt the old bearing. Race. I was afraid to tap on this one because I didn't want to curl the edge or anything. I mean, that wouldn't be good. But yeah, when they're pretty good, it's flush. I'm going to get that bottom one done. And then the lower bearing is out in the sun. And then I'll have to bring that stem up through here that's in the freezer. Put my seal on. And then while it's cold, hopefully as small as it can contract, and then the bearing that's out in the sun that's as hot and expanded as far as it's going to go, put that down on there. I do not have the old race, so this is going to be the only one that might be an issue. That's in the machining. Okay, I thought there was a scratch in it. I don't know. Maybe the bottom race. No, that's way too big. Not the upper bearing. Well, the upper bearing race might work. Maybe. We'll come up with something. But yeah, upper race is in. That was actually pretty easy, really. Pretty straightforward. Put it on, pound it in until it seats. Yeah, that's the other thing. You can see down there where it seats down. Now those are some gouges where I used the tool to pound the old one out, but the bearing won't be going down that far, so that doesn't matter. You just want to make sure it seats all the way at the bottom. That's the key part. Last thing you want is your handlebars and your steering coming apart while you're driving down the road. That probably would be an interesting adventure, but I don't want any part of something like that. Alright, so I'm going to tie all this up, pull it back, do something, get that bottom race in there, and we'll be back. Alright, so getting ready to put that bottom bearing in, bottom race. Got everything tied up, pulled out of the way. This is the old one. Now when I bring it up, it's going to be cold. I'll edit this a little bit. You'll see, I'll pretty much just go from here to that. You'll see the difference in the thickness. I'm going to set the other one in there. I'm going to use this one to put up against it and tap it with the hammer. Have that all set up and ready. And hopefully I can get this part of it at least pretty good on video. The top one's piece of cake. Bottom one should be. It's just upside down, so it's a pain in the butt. I'm trying not to touch it with my hands as much as possible so I don't warm it up. There's the new one. There's the old one. Quite a bit of difference. Make sure you put it in the right way. Really suck if you put it in backwards. Oh hell. Yeah, it slid in there kind of like the top one did, almost. By itself. Put this up against it. Main thing is you have to be careful that you go up straight. And looks like it's going now. It's arguing. It's fighting us. And just about. Actually, I say just about. We got another 1/4 inch to go. Actually, it needs to seat all the way up to here. We're not quite that far. And then even after all that banging, the old race, I mean this is like high tensile strength, you know, tool steel. Didn't even scratch it. Get that out of the way. The old one, I'll get you in closer, you can see it here in a second. Yeah, we're in. Good. I'm gonna get my hands, I'll edit this. Alright, so just to get you up in there close so you can see it. It's in there. The only hard part left now is get the old, scratch that, and get the new bearing on the new stem through the triple tree. Well, the bearing's hot and the triple tree stem is cold. Try saying that 3 times real fast. Never mind doing it. Oh yeah, you can see my rope. I had to pull this all up out of the way so I can get in there. I can take that all off now. Don't need it there, but I cleaned up this area here so I could work, as you saw. And races are in, top and bottom. My Harbor Freight bearing removal tool, you can see a little curve on there. Gotta have that curve. Guys, you know what I mean. Girls love. Oh, wait, scratch that. What? Hold it. Anyway, gotta have some fun.